Hey Hofstra fans, welcome inside the WB Mason Coaches Report with Abby Morgan. I'm Anthony Barrett, joined by Abby Morgan, the head coach of the Hofstra women's lacrosse team. Coach, thanks for the time. How are you?
I'm enjoying it. We're doing well.
Now, it's been a very long off season for you. You've had a couple of scrimmages on your belt. You've been in practice for a couple weeks now. How does it feel to finally be back out on the field with your team, play some teams wearing different colored jerseys?
It was really nice this Saturday just to not be playing ourselves and see where we are and see what we need to work on. And we learned a lot out of Saturday, playing 2 games and playing a lot of different groups out there. Our chemistry is the thing that we're really looking for, and we got a lot of answers in that department.
Now we'll take a look back at your team last year. You had a couple of good wins. You beat Notre Dame when they were ranked in the top 10, but ultimately you fall short of the CAA tournament. You did have some injuries, though, that hampered your team along the way. What were your thoughts on the season as a whole?
Well, it was definitely a rebuilding year for us. We were very young, 18 underclassmen, and the injuries did not help us. We ended up having 5 players get surgery during the summer, which was a very, very tough for us, and a couple of those 5 were playing with those injuries throughout the season. So we learned a lot out of it. There's definitely a huge amount of hunger for the returners to avenge last year and develop some respect back from the CAA especially, and so I think it's something that's going to drive us. We try and keep talking about it's a new year, but there's definitely that underlying push to develop some more respect.
Now, 3 big seniors depart your team because of graduation. Stephanie Rice on the attack line, Katie Hirsch, and Bettina Mignoli on defense. What do you lose with the 3 of them in terms of production and of leadership?
Definitely on the defensive end, we have some open spots leadership-wise, and just filling in those things that those people did well. I mean, Katie Hirsch, there's definitely no replacement for her, and Bettina was definitely our leader and our communicator, and Jenna did a lot of that as well, and did a lot for us in transition. So we've got some newcomers. We're also trying to play a lot more of our midfield, maybe more in those defensive spots, more in those attacking spots. We've got a lot of talent within our midfield, so it's an open area for us, and there we're trying to really find that gel and chemistry of the people who are going to work together. But Jackie Pandoff is going to fill a lot of that leadership role. Lizzie Zorovich is going to fill that as well in terms of communication.
Now, before we get to your team, there's been some rule changes to the sport of Division I women's lacrosse. Can you take us through them?
Well, the draw is a little bit different. Instead of having 1 player take the draw and then 4 on the circle, we now have only 2 on the circle. So there's only 3 within the 30 to 30 yard lines and 4 behind each on either side. So it does open up the draw a lot more. There's also a different setup of how the ball is going in between those 2 sticks, and that's something we've really had to. We've been very good at the draw, and our 2 draw specialist assistants have been. Tanya and Allison Uzzi have been working really hard at trying to find a way for our players to still have a great advantage on the draw, but it does open it up a lot, and we're hoping to put the ball into space a lot more so that we can go in and get it. And then the big change, which I think is going to be easier for fans to understand because it is a little bit more like men's lacrosse, where on a yellow card you are the real man down, where we're playing 7v6 inside on our attacking and defensive 30, and it will be releasable. So if a team scores, then that player gets to go back in. So it has changed a lot of what we do in practice, a lot more focus on ground balls and 50-50 balls on the draw, but man down, man up has been a huge part of strategy that we've had to add.
Now, one of the knocks on the sport, if you don't understand the nuances, some people think that it moves a little bit too slowly. Do you think that these rule changes will help make the sport a little bit more exciting to someone that's not an avid women's lacrosse fan?
I think that the man up, man down will. Hoping that, it's all in an effort to keep the game safe, and so hopefully those cards get called, and we do have those opportunities where it's pass goal, and I think that's what's exciting for a fan. But there has been a little bit of talk about shot clock or a stall warning or anything like that in terms of making it a little bit more like men's lacrosse, but nothing that's gone further than that.
Now let's look at your team. We'll start unit by unit, and we'll start with the player that you already brought up, Jackie Pandoff. She played stellar for you last year. There were multiple times where she would have 15, 16, 18 saves, and obviously she's going to be the starter in goal again this year, but you also brought up that she's going to have to be a bigger leader. So what are you expecting, and what do you think her ceiling is this year?
We expect a lot out of Jackie. She's very much a no-nonsense person, and she needs to be that leader. She needs to hold the defense accountable, but she also needs to do her job, and I think that's something where a goalie at her level, where she led the conference in saves, and definitely a great goaltender as her own position. Now she's got to lead that defensive unit, which is a lot younger, and be able to lead them. They do their job and give her a shot that she can save. She needs to save it, and that's where I think that will elevate her to the level we need her to be at to really solidify our defensive unit. So Jackie is one we're really looking forward to be a leader.
And in terms of the close defense, you already brought up Lizzie Zarovich.
Mm-hmm.
She's a player that has seen her playing time go up every year she's been at the school, kind of working to this point, I guess. Who else are you looking for to play out there on the close D?
Well, we have two others really who defensively we'll rely on as a line defender. Jamie Diarco has been doing a great job as a sophomore now. Abby Wilson, who's a freshman coming in from a great high school, actually Alex Mezzanotti's high school. Just very smart and solid. And we're hoping that another senior, Chrissy Jones, fills in some roles. We've also got Miss Jenna Kovar, a field hockey recruit, I guess. We pulled over. She pulled herself over, I think, more than anything, but has never played lacrosse before. And it's strange seeing her on the defensive end, but she's really picking up everything very quickly, and obviously a fabulous athlete. So there's a lot of pieces in the defensive unit that we need to fill in the gaps and see what all of them can do and hopefully solidify them.
Now, Kovar has set records for the field hockey team throughout her career here in terms of goal scoring. Now she's playing on defense. Is it going to be one of those scenarios where, because she's such a great athlete, put her on a talented offensive player, but try not to have her cradle too much and just pass right away?
Well, her stick work is continuing to get there. She jokes that she's going to be on the wall for the rest of her life, getting her stick work done well. But she has a nose for the ball, and when that ball's on the ground, if she can secure a ground ball, she can beat anyone down the field. And that's the part where we need her just to be able to cradle and make one good pass. But she's an annoying defender, and she's challenged our attackers by playing them very tight because she's speedy enough to recover and not allowing the player to get the ball. She's definitely one who, if we needed to maybe face guard somebody, that she would be the one who drives that other attacker nuts. But it's fun watching her because she makes big plays, and when she does something exciting, our whole team gets behind it.
Now, in terms of the midfield, you have a couple players that can play attack or midfield. So who are you looking to be the starters and primarily just play in the midfield?
Well, that's a real tough question because we have, I think, 10 midfielders, and all of them are players who we want to have on the field. And it's a great problem to have. Our leaders out there, I mean, we have Marianne Miller, who is one of our oldest and most experienced. Jill Mayer, obviously. Casey Kellogg and Liz Anders are ones who we need on the defensive end because they're definitely players who can make an impact there, but they also are great role players for us in the attacking unit. And we've got a mess of other players. We've got Jen Ward and Alex Mezzanotti, who did a great job for us last year. Jen Ward played a lot more attack, but now she's really done a better job on the defense, so we can play her in that midfield. A couple freshmen, Britton Almari and April Ionetta and Sam Lennox, all have shown they're just very talented players, and getting them to really mesh with the unit. Emily Von Hollen has done a great job from last year. Definitely a totally different player than we saw last year. This fall, we were just so surprised and happy to see her do as well as she did. So there's a lot of midfielders that can play, and we want to have out there, and we've pushed them to be in the best shape that they can, rotate them through. We want them to impact all over the field.
Now, you go back to 2 years ago, the last time you made the CAA tournament, you had midfielders like Corrine Gandolfi and Kaylee Vanneman that could play the whole game, could play on both sides of the field. Do you have someone that you feel confident in where they're going to be able to be an impact player on offense and on defense in the midfield?
We have a lot of those, and we're expecting a lot out of Jill and Marianne to step up their defense because they're definitely more attacking minded. Casey and Liz Anders I already talked about. I mean, they are ones who we need to have on the field. and to run our transition too. We want to fast break. We've got, amazing speed in that midfield. So we need those players to be fit, and it does rival some of the things that, that year we had with Corrine and the people we had in the midfield. But the gelling piece is the one that we're really trying to get, and to get all those midfielders on the same page and have them be able to impact on both sides.
Now on the attack line, Claire Brady is the standout that you have returning. When she's on the field, she's been electric for you, but she's had some injury problems throughout the years. So who else are you looking for to play with Brady up front?
Well, right now, Taylor Albright, she did a great job last year for us, just filling in a spot where she really just helps other people get open. And maybe she doesn't get on the stat sheet, but she makes the offense flow and work. And also Lindsay McKinnon filling in when Claire was hurt, and she's really stepped up, and we're expecting a lot more out of her too, to kind of fill that quarterback role. And then we've got some players who have made some changes. Some of our sophomores have really improved. Lauren Chandler has improved a bunch, and we'd like to see her out there a lot more. Julia Reamer, one of our freshmen, Caitlin Ayers, so we've got some good talent in all of our areas. It's just getting them to play together. And Claire is without a doubt the quarterback of our offense, and it's so nice to just see her healthy and be able to run as fast as she can, and be able to track down the ball and redefense. And that's somewhere where we're expecting a lot out of our attackers to cause some turnovers and get the ball back for us. Now
it sounds like in terms of the attack and midfield, you have a couple of players you're looking to be leaders, but you don't necessarily have that one superstar that you're trying to lean on. So would you want to see, let's say, 5 or 6 players that have more than 20 points or more than 25 points in a balanced attack this year?
Definitely. We still want to stick with 7+ scorers in a game, and I think that we have the ability to do that. Without a doubt, we want players to get hot. Jill Mayer has done that in the past, Mary Ann has done that in the past, and we want to be able to get them the ball when they are hot. But that is what happens in our schedule in the CAA. If somebody gets hot, they throw 2-3 people at them. We need to have people to step up and be those other people who score. And hopefully our freshmen are going to go under the radar a little bit and be able to get some of those goals, get some of those assists for us, and take some pressure off of who I think most of the other teams are going to put their best defenders on. That's hopefully what will play out.
Now you look at the schedule this year. We'll start out with the non-conference slate. 4-game road trip to open up the season. BC, at least on paper, looks to be the best out of those 4. And then you come back home. The University of Maryland coming to Seward. Maryland and Northwestern, probably the 2 best programs in the country the past couple of years. What are you expecting from this non-conference slate, and how excited are you that you get a team like Maryland to come to Seward?
Well, you missed one game in there. We got the 4 away, and we got one conference game in there. So we are very focused on those 1 game at a time. But it's a while before Maryland comes here. But honestly, it's Long Island, and teams want to come here and showcase their teams because it's a hotbed for lacrosse. And Maryland called us. They wanted to come here, and that's what we've had with Northwestern. They wanted to come here, and some other teams too wanted to bring their team here and showcase them in front of hopefully great crowds. So Maryland's a little bit further away for us. We'd love to have another game in there at home before we get to that, but we've got a lot of work to do before that Sunday comes around.
Now, looking at the CAA slate, preseason, you're picked in the top 4 in the conference. James Madison, the preseason favorite. They appear to be a very complete team. So what is it going to take for you guys to win the CAA this year?
We're going to have to be consistent, and that's the biggest test and challenge that we're going to have to face this year, is that we don't have ups and downs, and where even in game, if we have it down, we've got to get back to that up very quickly and stay with it. And that's where our team needs to show some of that maturity that they hopefully learn from the lessons that we went through last season, where you get stuck in that hole, you've got to dig yourself out one goal at a time and 1 step at a time. So if we can stay consistent and play the way that we know we can play, and that is redefining what Hofstra ball is all about, and that team, we've asked a lot of them, this is your team. This is not any team that has been in the past, and redefining traditions and things like that for this team, and not for a team that was here a couple years ago. So if we can find that and be consistent all throughout the season and in games, we'll be in good shape.
Now, Coach, one more question for you before we let you go. Pandolph was a rock for you last year. So are you looking this year to try and keep games somewhat low scoring, maybe win games 8-6, 9-7 in that range, keep it into single digits? Do you have a target range where you want to see the goals per game?
Well, we'd love to have the ball a lot more, and I think we have a lot of goal scoring capability. So in terms of us winning the draw and scoring, I'd like to see us score a lot and take some pressure off of our defense and some pressure off of Jackie. And I have to say, I mean, who knows? Kelsey Gregerson is a good freshman goalie for us, and she may push Jackie. But we'd love to have the ball a lot more and score a lot more because we have the people who can. And I don't think we'll be in a lot more of that slow down offense. We're going to have to push the ball and score some goals and then, jog back up to the draw and get it again.
All right, Coach, thanks a lot and best of luck this year.
Thank you.
And thank you, Hofstra fans, for joining us inside the WB Mason Coaches Report with Abby Morgan.